She has so many bench warrant bond forfeitures. You need to go take yourself to the sheriff's office right now. On the record, and are you ready on Hobbs? Heather Hobbs?
I would like to speak with her, Judge. I believe he had previously issued a warrant last time, and I had submitted a bill and informally withdrawn, you could say, on this case. I have not had any contact with her until today when I sent a Zoom link.
Okay.
Again, I believe this is on for bond revocation.
Okay.
She's on bond for.
We'll be on the record in 23 CR 300025, State of Kansas versus Heather Nicole Hobbs. Heather Hobbs, if you want credit for being here, get your audio and video started, both of them. Thank you. Ms. Hobbs, this has been going on for 2 years, going on 2 years. We need to get this resolved. You've had failures to appear. We've had a previous bond forfeiture started. We've gone through several attorneys. We need to just get this resolved.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Have you turned yourself in on your warrant?
I didn't know there was a warrant. We reached out to Heath to ask him if there was one a couple weeks ago, and he said not that he could see.
When you say Heath, who do you mean?
The sheriff.
Sheriff Samuels, you mean you reached out to?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, what I see is she needs to get herself turned in on that warrant. She has so many bench warrant bond forfeitures. You need to go take yourself to the sheriff's office right now. Don't you have a warrant out for her, Miss Gillette?
I have that a warrant was down and approved by the court.
All right. You need to go. Where are you right now?
I'm in Wichita, ma'am.
You need to go to the nearest sheriff and turn yourself in. That's the direction of the court right now. And
Okay.
I'm going to issue the bond forfeiture. And then you don't have a bondsman apparently. So AAA bail bondsman, are they here?
Not.
Have you talked to your bondsman?
I have not heard from them, and no, I have not talked to them.
Well, they're about to lose a chunk of money. Do we have service on them, Miss Gillette?
Yes, we certified mailed them, Your Honor. There was a return filed on them. There's been so many bond forfeitures in these cases.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to quit setting those aside because they show up. Just because she comes in on Zoom, I'm not going to set her warrant aside. This is just not going to happen. So you get to your sheriff and turn yourself in, and your problems are going to get worse. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms.
I'd rather
Hobbs?
come into Greenwood County so I don't have to be transferred with my medical conditions.
You get yourself turned in today, or you're going to have yourselves, apparently you and the sheriff have some close relationship that you call him by his first name.
I apologize. I wasn't meaning to be disrespectful, ma'am. It's been a long day.
Well, tell me, yes, I know. But at the same time, though, you do have a close relationship with the Greenwood County Sheriff that you are on a first name familiar basis? Is that correct?
I know him well enough that yes, I've referred to him as Heath.
All right. But he told you didn't have an active warrant?
He said I don't see an active warrant, and I believe that was 2 weeks ago because I hadn't heard anything about when court was. And today I got notification. Today there was court. The last court hearing, I got notification just a couple hours prior. And both times I had been working or sick in both. So I have 5 sober living houses that I co-own, as well as a nonprofit for human trafficking victims.
I remember you, yeah.
And so I have to have more than a couple hours notice. I don't look at my phone constantly, so.
Well, every time you come to court, I give you the court date, and it's usually several months ahead of time. So I don't know why you don't come to court any more than you do. I don't just give you a couple hours notice to come to court. I give you a couple months. All
No,
right, well,
I appreciate it.
if you want to turn yourself in to Sheriff Samuels,
Could I turn
Well-
myself in tomorrow so I can find someone to watch my dogs?
no, I'm not making any deals with you. I'm telling you, you've got an active warrant and you need to get yourself turned in.
Yes, ma'am, I understand, but I will have to find someone to watch my dogs.
Well, we'll just see whether you find your dog watcher or we find you first.
Okay, thank you.
Don't thank me. I didn't do anything for you. All right. Judgment is granted on the bond. The defendant is ordered to turn herself in without delay. And when she gets herself turned in, and Mr. McClendon, were you asking to be relieved on this case? Had you? I haven't
Your
given
Honor, I
you.
will, for the sake of judicial economy, I will not be at this time. I do believe, I can hopefully work something out with Ms. Hobbs and we can get a deal done or get this set for trial.
Okay.
I'll be asking that the court, provide a new court date on the records and just so Ms. Hobbs is aware of it, and I will be in touch with her between now and then.
Mr. McClendon, I will set a hearing for her when I get her in custody. I will not allow her to have a court date at her leisure while she's got an active warrant. Especially
Understandably
as long
so,
as this
Judge.
one's been. All right. And I would remind-
May I withdraw then on the record? Just because I think there's been some issues with the communication of court dates.
Now, do you want to explain what that means? Are you saying you think we're giving her the wrong court dates or she's just not keeping them?
I
Well,
do
I don't want to
provide,
put you in that spot. I don't want to put you in that spot. I don't want to play you against your client, even if it's justified. I don't want you to be in that spot. So don't answer. At this point, you're allowed to withdraw, but if she keeps going through attorneys, we'll never get this resolved. But I am allowing you to withdraw, and Missy, I know you're not going to like it, but you're going to have to try to find someone else to take her. And I know you'll do it without complaining. I would just, yeah. So, Miss Hobbs, call your bondsman. Maybe he'll watch your dogs. But you just cost him a chunk of money, so maybe you won't. We're in recess, and the defendant again is ordered to turn herself in on that warrant that's been active for a while now. Thank you, Mr. McClendon. You want to take up Howland?
Judge,
Your
that's a
Honor, am I
JV
excused
case.
then?
Your hearing is over.
Am I excused then from being on here?
You're an absconder on an active warrant. I can't reach out and grab you. I'm not going to say you're excused because I don't consider you excused, but I'm not going to keep you on the docket if that's what you want to know.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
We're on the record in 2023 CR 300032, State of Kansas versus Stubs, Joseph Carr Stubs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McClendon, how does your client wish to proceed today on his charges? Let's see, we had a preliminary hearing on him, and then the state dismissed.
Judge, he's here on a motion to revoke probation.
On misdemeanors, right? They were pled
Yeah.
to misdemeanors on June 21st of 2024. And Mr. Bauer, you're here for that case?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll be covering that case.
Let me find that show cause. We're here on a warrant to show cause why the defendant's probation should not be revoked. In the warrant to show cause, the state is alleging that the defendant failed to find and/or maintain regular full-time or part-time employment, failed to report to his court service officer as directed, failed to pay all fines and costs associated with the case as directed. Mr. Stubbs is entitled, of course, to deny those allegations, to request an evidentiary hearing, to hear the testimony of the state's witness, in this case, Mr. Bauer, and to cross-examine that witness through his attorney, as well as call any witnesses of his own. At this time, Mr. McClendon, does he wish to have that evidentiary hearing?
Your Honor, I received a offer from the state for a resolution on this matter. I have not had the chance to convey it to Mr. Stubbs. If I could get a brief breakout, I think this case could potentially be resolved today.
All right, we'll take a recess at this time. All right, back on the record in 2023 CR 300032, State of Kansas versus Joseph Carr Stubbs. And again, how does he wish to proceed, Mr. McClendon?
Honor, we'd be stipulating to a probation violation
All right, Mr.
pursuant
Stubbs.
to an agreement.
Mr. Stubbs, did you hear me a while ago say that you do have a right to an evidentiary hearing and the burden would be on the state to try to prove, if they could, that you violated your probation?
Yes, I did.
And your attorney tells me you're wanting to waive that hearing and that you'll agree that you did violate without having to have your court service officer, Tony Bauer, testify. Is that true? Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So are you admitting you didn't maintain employment? Are you admitting that you did not maintain employment?
I did have an appointment. I just did not report it.
Okay. Did you have it consistently throughout the probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So there was never a time where you didn't have employment. How is he freezing when he's here in the courthouse, Missy? Do you know? Maybe he's not freezing. Maybe he's just being still. Mr.
Oh, no,
Stubbs?
I'm sorry. It was frozen. I'm so sorry.
Okay. And did you pay your costs and fines as ordered?
I paid the restitution to my grandmother, but I never paid the court fines.
So you didn't pay the restitution as ordered through the court to get credit for it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, no, not through the court.
So Mr. Bauer has no way of knowing if you paid restitution because you didn't show him one way or the other. Did you ever show Mr. Bauer proof?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay. Did you fail to report, as he says, at least July 19th of 2024, October 16th of 2024, November 19th of 2024? Did you report on those days?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did report?
I did
Okay.
not know.
And he says you've only had contact with him a couple of times. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Carrie Seeley was my probation officer, and I never contacted her.
Okay, you never contacted her and you didn't, okay. All right, well, I am finding that you have violated your probation by admission and waiver of hearing. Is anyone making you waive this hearing and make these stipulations, or are you doing this because you believe that you have violated?
I believe I violated it, yes.
All right. Well, I will find the defendant has violated his probation. I will revoke that probation. Now, I understand the parties want to recommend jointly a disposition. Ms. Gillette, what is the state's position?
Judge, I believe that he is prepared to pay his costs in full. There's also
Bill,
Huh?
will do. May I, Your Honor?
okay. But
May I proceed? We had a dual agreement as to one way or the other, Judge. My client, he'll be serving 5 days on the weekends if possible. He does currently have employment, and he has 2 children he has to look after as well. That'd be a 5-day sanction. This was a Class C misdemeanor, I believe, and I think his total underlying was 30 days.
it's a B with 6 months.
It was a
But-
B. Excuse me.
Yeah. The agreement was for him to do 5 days as a sanction, Your Honor, be placed back on probation for 6 months.
Tell me that again. You work where? Get up in front of the microphone, please.
Kansas Sorry. Kansas,
Okay. So how many days a week?
I work 5 days a week.
These children, are they yours or someone else's that you support?
They're mine.
Now, you were originally charged with felony criminal use of a financial card, a level 9 non-person felony, and theft, a class A non-person misdemeanor. And then Ms. Gilletti pled to the B misdemeanor. What was that?
Judge, his journal entry has that he pled guilty to count 2 theft, a class A non-person misdemeanor with a 6-month underlying sentence and 12 months of reporting probation.
Okay, thank you. And it was your grandma's card you stole and spent money off of?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bauer, have you any recommendations?
I don't know that I have anything different than what's been said. The only thing I would mention is that court costs and everything shows the restitution of $623.50 is still owed. So if they're going to consider that as paid, we'll have to figure out how that's going to be corrected in the court system, since it did not come through the courts like it was supposed to.
Well, I don't think it's gonna have to go through the court system, because otherwise it'd be too easy to go say, hey, come on, Grandma, do me a favor, just say I paid it even though I didn't. I don't want to be doing that. So this is gonna have to be paid, all of it, through the court system. I'm not gonna just take your word for it that you paid Grandma, and that's not gonna happen. We're gonna follow court orders, Mr. Stubs. And I have never had, I don't think I've ever had a defendant say, oh, well, I thought I could just go out and hand her the money and not show it through the court system. I don't think I've ever seen anybody even suggest that. Maybe in a child support case, but not in a criminal restitution situation.
Your Honor,
Mr. Bauer?
the only other thing I was going to say is that probation being extended for 6 months, he needs to ensure he is reporting on time like he is ordered to, because we're still having very spotty reporting with him based off of the notes in our system.
How long have you had this job that you're at now?
I've had it about 7 months.
7 months. And you have weekends off?
Yes.
How'd you get to court today? How did you get to court
I
today?
actually had a friend drive me.
A friend from,
My buddy,
where do you, remind me where you live
he
again,
lives
what
in
town?
Madison. I live in Burlington. I'm sorry, it's lagging.
Ms. Gillette, do you know how much credit he has for time served, or Mr. Bauer?
None.
Anytime?
He,
None?
any days he bonded the day he was arrested on this. If there was any credit back at the original time, I can go back and look, but
I just thought maybe he served a little bit of it.
no. That's why I recommended a sanction and for him to be put on for 6 months to finish all the payments.
We've been battling the request for revocation apparently since March 17th, and we haven't been able to get this resolved. I'm going to order that he be taken into custody right now, and I will review this 1 week from today. At Missy, is it 3:30 next week we meet again, or is it in 2 weeks? Okay, can you set him next week? All right, we'll review this July 1st at 3:30, because you were given very clear directives. You weren't given a lot of orders, and you couldn't even keep up with the minimal reporting, and you haven't since we started this revocation process back in March. So I'll look at this
Ma'am?
again.
May I say something?
Sure.
I've been talking to Jessica. I've been reporting to a girl named Jessica. I actually just called her on June 10th. I was at work and I couldn't reach her in the morning.
Well, we'll talk to
I
her.
have her number saved.
Sure you do, but we'll talk to her at the next hearing then. All right, those are the orders. We'll be in recess at this time. Missy, if you'll have someone help him, please. There are consequences, Mr. Stubbs. You got the break of getting your felony reduced to a misdemeanor. You got the benefit of probation, and you just haven't taken any of this seriously. So you'll go into custody now, and we'll look at this again in 1 week. So, Missy, if you'll make sure the officers
What?
escort him.